And welcome to the Grangemouth Community Education Centre to this special meeting of Falkirk Council, and welcome to those joining online. The agenda was issued on Wednesday 22nd October. Hard copies were available to members at the Foundry on Thursday 23rd of September. The meeting is being live streamed and recorded. A video recording will be posted online shortly after the meeting on the Council's YouTube channel. I'm mindful of the Council's decision in June to be leaders by example when it comes to embodying respectful language and conduct as elected representatives in our meetings and in our interaction with our communities, and I intend to ensure that our meetings are seen to reflect those respectful behaviours. We can disagree and no doubt will disagree, but we can do that without questioning the good faith of our officers or other members. I take this opportunity to remind members all members should be heard without interruption. The audio situation in this room has been reviewed with changes made. An upgrade to the system will be in operation in the coming weeks. For today, to support members hearing online, I ask that members in the room speak directly into their microphone and keep it close to your mouth. If members in the room wish to speak, I ask that they indicate this to Democratic Services officers who will note this, rather than put their light on, to avoid any microphone issues. We have officers from IT available should there be any issue. I will ask if all who wish to speak have done so before closing it, but at that point it is your responsibility to ensure you attract my attention, even by cutting in verbally, otherwise you may miss your chance to speak. Members joining remotely should ensure that their cameras are turned on during the proceedings. If there is an issue, you should let me or the committee team know. So before we start, can everyone check now that your mobile phone switched off or is on silent? Agenda item 1, Sederant. Mr. Moody will take the Sederant.
Thank you, Provost. Provost Bissett.
Present.
Apologies have been submitted by Deputy Provost Balfour. Councillor Aitchison. Councillor Aitken.
Here.
Councillor Anslow.
Present.
Councillor Binney.
Present.
Councillor Bowes. I think Councillor Mackie Brown is having some difficulties with our technology, but may join us shortly. Apologies have been submitted by Bailey Buchanan. Councillor Bundy.
Here.
Councillor Colley.
Here.
Councillor Deacon.
Here.
Councillor Devine. Councillor Flynn.
Here.
Councillor Forrest.
Present.
Councillor Garner.
Here.
Councillor Hannah. Councillor Kelly.
Present.
Bailey Kerr.
Present.
Councillor McCabe.
Yep.
Councillor Meiklejohn.
Present.
Councillor Murtagh.
And short.
Councillor Nimmo.
Present.
Councillor Patterson.
Here.
Councillor Patrick. Councillor Patrick doesn't appear to be here. Councillor Redmond.
Present.
Councillor Ritchie.
Present.
With apologies from Councillor Robertson. Councillor Sinclair.
Here.
And Councillor Spears.
Thanks, Mr. Moody. We'll now move to agenda item 2, declarations of interest. Members should declare any financial and non-financial interest they may have in any item of business at this meeting, identifying the relevant agenda item and the nature of the interest. Do we have any declarations of interest? No. Agenda item 3, rolling action log, pages 2 to 10 in your agenda papers, and Mr. Moody will provide a short introduction.
Thank you, Provost. And as usual, the rolling action log just provides a record of those decisions of the Council where further reports have been called for, and sets out the current progress in relation to those reports. The rolling action log is up to date and is available for members' questions.
Any questions on the rolling action log? Councillor Devine.
Just one quick question, Provost. With regards to the rolling action log, the Bonus Master Plan, do we have a month where the consultation is going to take place? It just says during 2025 and then bringing back the report. So just where are we with that?
So Benny?
I don't have that information right now, but I'll make sure that I get it to you.
Thank you.
And I should perhaps say, Provost, that is on the rolling action log. In error, it should be on the executive rolling action log because it is intended back at the executive. So just to make that point.
Fair point. Councillor Spears?
Councillor McCabe, Provost.
Councillor McCabe, my apologies.
Yeah, choose the handsome one, please.
Well, I wouldn't like to comment.
Debatable. Question possibly for Mr. Reid. It's regarding the Education Service redesign for ESN service review. I see that we've got a report on the learning estate, which is going to the December meeting. Where are we with the ESN service review?
Mr. Reid?
Thank you, Provost. Thanks, Councillor McCabe. The work is still underway in preparation of that report, so that will be advised as soon as possible for a reporting date.
Thank you. And it's just that I'd noticed that it was due on the 25th of the 9th. So there is that bit of slippage, but I'll leave it with you, Mr. Reid. You know, I realise it's a fair bit of work to be doing with it. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor McCabe. Any other questions? No. Agenda item 4, Madison Primary School update report. It's a joint report by Director of Police Services and of Education Services, pages 11 to 28. And the report is taken as read, and we've had quite a number of briefings on this. But before we move to questions, I'll invite Mr. Moody to make some comments on perhaps the litigious side of the report.
Thank you, Provost. And it's just a couple of very brief comments in relation to the focus of this report. And really to make the point that this is a forward-looking report about how to deal with the situation as we find it at the moment. This isn't really the opportunity for raising issues in relation to the root cause issues and any potential for litigation. I think it's important to recall that there is a further report on the root cause issues, which is scheduled for the executive, at the moment anticipated for December. Executive, though there may be some possibility that that may be slipping into the later meeting in January, just in relation to the receipt of the expert reports and necessary legal advice. I think the other point I would just wish to make is that any litigation that may arise from this particular set of circumstances is likely to be particularly complex. And I think it's important at this stage that we don't try to air those particular issues in this public forum, particularly without the information available to us in the report, which is forthcoming. So it's just to try and set some parameters around any questions which members may have, and I think to direct them towards the relevance of the report that's in front of us today.
Okay, thanks very much, Mr. Moody. There have been no amendments submitted, so there will be no debate. So we'll now open up for questions to officers. Any questions for officers? Councillor Meikle-John.
Thank you, Provost. Just in relation to, I'm glad Mr. Moody said what he did. It was about the report that was due in December. Do we think that is going to have to be delayed until January? Maybe a wee bit more information from officers might actually help to clarify that.
Okay, Mr. Keswick.
Thank you, Provost. Yes, as briefly mentioned there by Mr. Moody, we are in receipt of further correspondence and have also received the initial draft root cause report from the external specialist consultants, and these raise a number of potentially further legal issues that we will have to seek specialist legal advice on, and therefore it may be premature for us to bring a report in December whilst we await those further investigations. and therefore we would propose that the report is brought to the January executive, where we'll be able to actually provide a much more comprehensive position based on those additional legal views that we've sought.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Keswick. Any other questions?
I've got a number of other
carry on.
questions, Provost, sorry. That one just kind of emerged as information came forward. I've got 3 other questions, and the first one being is how confident are we that the 14 million will be final cost? And I know that's probably a very difficult one to answer definitively, but obviously we're charged with financial prudence.
Mr. Keswick.
Thank you, Provost. We did procure external consultants to provide us with the costs, and they have also provided us with projected delivery timescales to account for things such as inflation, and an allowance has been made on these. However, it is a unique project. From our engagement with contractors, the market dynamics on such a project are pretty much fluid at times. So a risk does exist, but is being mitigated through our procurement approach, which we previously reported upon. We have already had early contractor engagement with 2 potential contractors, so they're well aware of the parameters. They've seen all the works that have been scheduled that we had previously reported upon and are included in this report, and therefore we can be as confident as we can be at this stage that £14 million is the budget envelope that we've got.
Mr. Keswick,
Okay.
back to Councillor Meiklejohn.
Just on taking that to the next stage, because you did kind of indicate that as well about the contractors, knowing it's a very tight timescale, how confident are we that we're going to be able to deliver for August 27?
Mr. Keswick.
Provost, again, it's a very challenging and difficult project, particularly given the complexity of the works and also the proximity to the P1s and P3s. So our whole programme has been set out, and we've highlighted the key milestones. The contractors and the external advisors have advised that it is achievable, but it is literally by weeks before we get to the August 2027 date. But again, we're mitigating that risk through our procurement route and that early contractor engagement that we've got. So we're as confident as we can be at this stage, but clearly if it was to change, we would provide an update.
Okay, thanks, Mr.
Final question, Provost. We've just this morning approved from the revenue budget some additional funding to support the current arrangements for our the children that are having to be decanted, but recognising that there are still some who are being educated within the school site at this moment in time. How safe will these primary 1 to 3 pupils be during that period?
Mr. Keswick.
Provost, please for members to be assured that safety is paramount in this situation. The area currently occupied is quite clearly separate from the majority of the works that will take place. Those areas that are adjacent, they're relatively smaller and more minor in nature, and they'll be programmed to occur during the school holidays when the school is completely vacant. But members, please be assured that safety is paramount, even if that means delays in the programme to ensure that.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Keswick. Thanks, Councillor Meiklejohn. Councillor Spears.
Thank you. It's on page 12, 3 and 4. On 4, you say that there'll be £8.3 million forthcoming from the capital funding to deliver this project. And I ask what will be held back from capital funding because of this?
Mr. Keswick.
Provost, I may bring Ms Templeman in on this, but as highlighted in the report, I think it's at section 7.4, we've highlighted a number of options that may be considered for providing that additional funding, and Amanda can update on those as part of the budget process, but I'm sure can maybe advise on the implications of each if that would help members in their deliberations.
Okay, Mrs. Templeman.
Thank you, Provost. Thank you, Councillor Spears. So the report as it's set out just now recognises the imperative to get ahead and get on with this work, and notes that the impact or the implications of this, the cost of that work will be built into the budget in March 26. So we haven't worked through exactly what we think the best options will be, and we'll bring that back. But I think it's unlikely that we would find significant adjustments we could make to the existing capital programme. We already know that, and we've said to members before, that our capital programme is quite tight. We've been working with members to look at how we could use council tax, for example, to enhance the capital programme. So I think it's unlikely that we'll be able to remove £8.3 million of projects and substitute. I think the most likely is that we're going to have to go out and borrow and enhance the capital programme for this. That will add to the revenue pressures. So we will be adjusting our financial gap to reflect that if that's the route that we go down. Because the borrowing pressures tend to impact the year after we do the borrowing and the majority of the work will happen in 26-28, the biggest impact on that revenue budget gap is likely to be 27-28. But we will model all that out and update it all for members as part of the March budget.
Thanks, Mrs. Templeman.
So we are about to borrow money for this, which could have an impact on future years. I take you to page 17, 74D, removal of capital projects. Can we name which projects will be removed?
Thanks, Councillor Spears. I think what we're outlining in paragraph 7.4 is the options that are available to members. And as I say, we'll bring those options back as part of the budget paper. But I think it's unlikely. So at this point, we haven't identified capital projects to remove. What we're seeing is that could be an option for funding the capital programme. But at this point, I think it's unlikely that that would provide us with 8.3 million because, as you know, our capital programme is already quite tight. But that's certainly one of the options that we'll be exploring as officers to bring back as part of the March budget.
Am I picking this up? Am I picking this up clearly? We don't know what to remove because we don't know the cost of things that we've not identified.
I think what we're trying to set out in paragraph 7.4 is there's a variety of options open to the council to allocate funding to this project. We're not at this point suggesting specific projects that we should take out of the capital programme. It is an option. It's one that we'll explore and we'll bring it all back as part of the March budget.
Well, I certainly look forward to seeing what the projects that might be scrapped are, because to make decisions, you've really not got to know what you're making the decisions about.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Spears. Councillor Redmond.
Thanks. Obviously, we're in this situation because there's been a number of years, and don't want to go over old stuff, but this was obviously signed off by the council's building one team with Clark Works involved. So what assurances can be given that when we're carrying out these £14 million worth of works, that at the council side, the inspection and Clark Works will be there to make sure that the work's done properly and we don't end up in a situation like this again?
Sir Keswick.
Thank you, Provost. Members can obviously recognise this is a 17-year-old, 18-year-old project. Practices back then weren't certainly not as robust as they are now. I mean, it doesn't make any excuse for the situation that we were in back then, and the root cause report will identify those. In terms of the current procedures we have a really good internal Clark Works team. They will be supported by external technical advisors who will oversee the works. We are also procuring the works through Hub East Central, who will also have their project managers and their advisors on site. The contractors we're dealing with both have quality assurance requirements in terms of their construction. So we have at least 4 or 5 different levels of checks to make sure that the circumstances that occurred previously won't occur on this project or indeed any project that we're dealing with.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Redmond. Councillor Hannah.
Thank you, Provost. My first question, Mrs. Templeman has already kindly given adequate information, I think, because it was about the impact on the budget. Second question is not entirely covered in this report, but I think it's important that we have some assurance that during this interim period, Mr. Kettrick has mentioned protecting the children who are on site, but could officers give us a bit more reassurance that the education of all the children who are in interim arrangements over this 2-year period, their education is going to be minimally disrupted?
Thank you, Provost. Thank you, Councillor Hannah. That's been our absolute priority from the start, from day one, from the decant arrangements which were put in place swiftly. There's always ongoing communication with all of the teams in Madison campus and all of the host schools. All of the pupils receive the same number of hours of learning as any other pupil in any other school. And the teams in those schools obviously monitor the progress that those young people are making. And we're also supporting the teams at Madison and in the host schools with additional resources so that they can respond to any concerns regarding learning or any concerns regarding the well-being of the young people who are there. But it's our top priority to make sure that that continues. And the children are making good progress in their host schools and on the Madison campus, and it's been a pleasure to go and visit them and see that taking place.
Thank you. Thank you, Provost.
Thanks very much, Councillor Hannah. We'll now go to Councillor Sinclair.
Thanks, Provost. Councillor Hannah has kindly read my mind. My concern with this, although it isn't covered within the report, was the education of the children who are across several campuses and maintaining that to highest quality that's expected. I think further to that, though, I think what we need to bear in mind is we do have Madison Primary School covered over several campuses. So I wonder if Mr. Reid could perhaps go slightly further and give us an assurance on how those children and families impacted by this decant are still very much a part of the Madison school community and how that can be encompassed in the intervening period.
Mr. Reid.
Thank you. That's been a key feature that the head teacher at Madison has been very keen to preserve, and rightly so. So there are separate identities in the host schools. I mean, they're merging, there's joint activities and lots of collaboration going on, but very much so it's Madison Primary School across all of the sites. The head teacher visits all of the sites. She is supported by additional resources and management teams specifically for Madison in each of the host schools. They have Madison assemblies online, obviously. Madison Parents' Night takes place, or did take place this week, I think, in the community centre up at Madison. They go on school trips together, so all of the normal things that you would expect to happen within a primary school, the head teacher and her team, and those in the host schools as well, are managing to make sure that that identity is protected so that the young people are part of the Madison community to which they will return when this project is successfully completed.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Reid. If there's no other questions, we'll go to the administration to move the motion. Would that be Councillor Sinclair or yourself, Councillor Meikle-John?
Thank you, Provost. The report before us today provides an update on Madison Primary School following the defects uncovered during the investigations following Storm Irwin in January 25. In addition, the report outlines the cost, timescales and the actions to rectify the defects. As members will be aware from previous reports and updates by officers, the extent of the works identified as being required following extensive investigations following the storm has meant the school was required to close, with only primary 1s to primary 3s being able to be accommodated in the new extension, and has then required the installation of temporary units and use of the community centre for PE and dining. The rest of the school remains as a decant, as we've heard. The extent of the area reoccupied and the area where the works are required is outlined within the report in one of the appendix. In March 25, as part of the approval of the General Fund Capital Programme 25-26 to 29-30, Council revised the capital programme to include provision for £5 million to cover initial costs identified. It was noted at that time that significantly more work was required before a definitive cost was available. In June this year, Council approved the procurement route via Hub East Central and instructed officers to commission the independent review of the circumstances of the management of the original construction of the school, specifically focusing on what went wrong, who was responsible, and what lessons have been learned to prevent similar failings in the future. Focus of this report is on the works to be instated at the school is not now the situation as a start that again. The focus of the report is on the works to reinstate the school and not how the situation has occurred, which will be subject to a separate report, which we've already heard. Within the Appendix 2, the summarised in the report that outlines the extent of the works required. This has been prepared by external structural engineers with construction professionals, including building surveyors, to support by council officers. In summary, while the works required are extensive, the conclusions are that the school can be reinstated as opposed to demolished and rebuilt. It would be noted that the full report is not provided as it contains information that may be relied on and required as part of the future legal proceedings should these be progressed. Public exposure may prejudice both the council and external parties' commercial interests, and that's the reasons that have been given previously. But officers are content to actually have discussions with members on those. Costs to reinstate the school have been estimated by the external advisors at 14 million, and given the scale and complexity of the works, the design team's current outline programme anticipates a full opening of August 27. Summary of the programme deliveries included within the Appendix 3, and until the remobilisation in August 27, the existing arrangements will remain in place with primary 1 to 3 classes based within the infant section. As outlined within the report, the current budget of 5.7 million is available from the General Services Capital and Programme Planning contributions. This leaves a deficit of 8.3 million that requires to be funded. Again, Mrs Templeman has outlined that there will be a number of options for this, and these will be considered as part of the budget process. But to enable the process to begin and make contractors appointed, a decision is required, and that's what's expected from us today. The options available are outlined in the report, but it's clear that all will have consequences for either the revenue or the capital budget, or more likely both. In addition to the reinstatement of the school, the ongoing revenue consequences of the temporary accommodation and decant arrangements mean that approximately 1.5 million will be expended through to August 27, and in addition 300,000 that's been spent to date. And part of that has been agreed this morning from the Council's reserve. Officers also evaluated the cost of a new school, which is approximately between 25 to 28 million plus demolition, site abnormals, mobilisation costs with a revenue consequence in excess of 2 million. The best value option is therefore the reinstatement. Therefore, in conclusion, the situation is regrettable. However, no one in the Chamber has any involvement in the project prior. Therefore, it is right to await the outcome of the further report on how we are, on where we are currently, the focus of this report and the findings of the building appraisal report, and the need to construct the reinstatement of the school, recognising the costs and the timescales involved. Therefore, I would commend the recommendations within the report in order to give permission to officers to start the procurement process. Thank you, Provost.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Meikle. John, do you have a seconder? Councillor Sinclair.
Provost, yeah, I'm content to second, but with your indulgence, I just want to give a brief thanks to Mrs McGlynn and her team up at Madison Primary School and across the 2 other campuses. Also to the teams at Buntaskin and Wollaston for welcoming their visiting Madison classes so warmly. To the parents and families for their patience on this, acknowledging how challenging of a situation this is for them. And finally to the children at Madison, who are currently at Madison, Buntaskin and Wollaston, for their resilience and a commitment to them to get you all back to Madison Primary as soon as we possibly can.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Sinclair. Well, since there are no amendments, can we agree with the report?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item 5 is appointments. It's a report by Director of Transformation, Communities and Corporate Services, pages 29 to 33. The report is taken as read. Do we have any questions for officers? No. Okay. So we'll now go to Mr. Moody to take us through the appointments.
Thank you, Provost. And as I think can be seen from the recommendations of the report, there are three separate matters to be dealt with. And the first of those is the appointment of the convener of the Planning Committee. So the process is that nominations are sought from members in the council today, and we will see how many nominations we have, and then I can explain the process of the vote.
Okay, do we have any nominations for convener of planning? Oh.
Provost, can I just, it's a point of clarification rather than a nomination just for the minute. We have an acting convener of planning at the minute. Is there any value, any credence in Councillor Kelly remaining as the convener? The reason I ask the question is Councillor Kelly's acted very responsibly for the past 3 or 4 months due to circumstances. He's also acted as the convener on a couple of occasions, I believe, when the convener was absent through illness. I just feel that given the fact that Councillor Kelly has occupied that position, that perhaps I realise Councillor Moody, Mr. Moody will probably come back and say it doesn't really count, Councillor McCabe, but I was just wondering, is there any weight in Councillor Kelly being clarified as the or?
Okay, Mr. Moody.
Firstly, to confirm, Councillor Kelly is the deputy convener of the committee, and accordingly, in the absence of the convener, in certain circumstances, he has convened the committee. Like all other members of the committee, though, he is entitled to be nominated to be the convener for the current vacancy. That applies to all other members of the committee too. So there's no particular weight in terms of the standing orders that is given to a candidate who has served as the deputy convener. It's a factor that members may or may not wish to take into account in deciding who they wish to vote for.
Thank you, Mr. Moody. Thank you, Provost.
Okay, thanks very much. Do we have any nominations?
Could I please nominate Councillor Ian Sinclair?
With thanks to Councillor McCabe for his kind words, I would nominate Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Spears?
I would like to nominate Councillor Laura Murtagh.
Yeah. Any other nominations?
Yes,
Councillor Patrick?
I'd like to nominate Bailey Kerr, please.
Okay, thank you. Any more nominations? No.
I think it's worth just pausing for a moment then, Provost, just to explain the voting procedure. So we have 4 nominees for 1 position. Each member of the council can vote for 1 of those nominees. To be appointed, the person needs a overall majority, an absolute majority of those voting. If none of the candidates have an absolute majority after the first vote, then the person with the fewest votes drops off and we vote again. And we'll keep going until we get a result from that. So just as a reminder, I'll go through the Sedariant Provost, and each member is asked to indicate which of the 4 nominated candidates support. Provost Bissett.
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Aitchison.
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Aitken.
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Anslow.
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Binney.
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Bowes.
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Mackie Brown.
Bailey Kerr.
Councillor Bundy,
Bailey Kerr.
Councillor Colley,
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Deacon,
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Devine,
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Flynn,
Bailey Kerr.
Councillor Forrest,
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Garner,
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Hannah,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Kelly,
Kelly.
Bailey Kerr,
Bailey Kerr.
Councillor McCabe,
Councillor Murtagh.
Councillor Meiklejohn,
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Murtagh,
Councillor Murtagh.
Councillor Nimmo,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Patterson,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Patrick,
Bailey Kerr.
Councillor Redmond,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Ritchie,
Councillor Murtagh.
Councillor Sinclair,
Councillor Sinclair.
and Councillor Spears.
Councillor Murtagh.
Convener, there are 9 votes for Councillor Sinclair, there are 9 votes for Councillor Kelly, there are 4 votes for Councillor Murtagh, there are 5 votes for Bailey Kerr. None of the candidates has an absolute majority. Councillor Murtagh is eliminated from the voting in that round, and we proceed with Councillor Sinclair, Kelly and Bailey Kerr as candidates. Provost Bissett,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Aitchison,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Aitken,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Anslow,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Binney,
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Bowes,
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Mackie Brown. I think you may be on mute, guys. I think Councillor Mackie Brown has no sound, so for the benefit of those in the room, she has been able to indicate electronically that her vote is for Bailey Kerr. Councillor Bundy,
Bailey Kerr.
Councillor Colley,
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Deacon,
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Devine,
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Flynn,
Bailey Kerr.
Councillor Forrest,
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Garner,
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Hannah,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Kelly,
Councillor Kelly.
Bailey Kerr,
Bailey Kerr.
Councillor McCabe,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Meiklejohn,
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Murtagh,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Nimmo,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Patterson,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Patrick,
Bailey Kerr.
Councillor Redmond,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Ritchie,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Sinclair,
Councillor Sinclair.
and Councillor Spears.
Councillor Kelly.
Provost, the votes are for Councillor Sinclair, 9 votes, for Councillor Kelly, 13 votes, and for Bailey Kerr, 5 votes. There is still no one with an absolute majority, but Bailey Kerr is eliminated from that round of voting, leaving us with 2 candidates, Councillor Sinclair and Councillor Kelly. Provost Bissett,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Aitchison,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Aitken,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Anslow,
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Binney,
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Bowes,
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Mackie Brown, Again, Councillor Mackie Brown has difficulties with sound, but she's messaged electronically to say her votes for Councillor Kelly. Councillor Bundy.
Abstain.
Councillor Colley.
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Deacon.
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Devine.
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Flynn.
Abstain.
Councillor Forrest.
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Garner.
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Hannah.
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Kelly.
Bailey Kerr.
Abstain.
Councillor McCabe.
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Meiklejohn.
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Murtagh.
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Nimmo.
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Patterson.
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Patrick.
Abstain.
Councillor Redmond.
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Ritchie.
Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Sinclair.
Councillor Sinclair.
And Councillor Spears.
Councillor Kelly.
Provost, there are 9 votes for Councillor Sinclair. There are 14 votes for Councillor Kelly. There were 4 abstentions, and Councillor Kelly is duly appointed as the convener of the plan.
Thanks very much, Mr. Moody, and well done, Councillor Kelly. You're now convener of planning.
Thank you all.
The next item is appoint 3 members to the Stirlingshire Educational Trust Board and confirm Councillor Hannah as a board member. Mr. Moody.
Thank you, Provost, and this will become more complicated if there is as much competition for the Stirlingshire Educational Trust as there is for the planning convener. We will see. I think, as set out in the report, Provost, you can see that this may be a first decision to be made as whether Council is content to confirm Councillor Hannah as a trustee.
Agreed.
Agreed. Agreed.
That being so, there are 3 vacancies on the trust. They are, although the trust is not formally politically proportioned, when it was appointed to in 2022, there were 3 SNP members, 2 Labour members, a Conservative member and an independent member appointed, which is broadly proportional. And at the moment, there are currently then vacancies on that basis for 1 SNP, 1 Labour and 1 independent or UK councillor if we were to adopt the same proposal. So that's just some background information in advance of seeking any nominations from the floor.
Okay, do you have any nominations?
No nominations from us, Provost. Sorry.
Okay. Councillor Hannah?
I'm afraid that I'm not getting any volunteers.
Okay. Councillor Bailey Kerr?
We've got one on it.
Okay, right. Councillor Spears?
No nominations.
Okay, thank you. Any other independents? No. Mr. Moody?
That being so, Provost, Councillor Hannah is duly appointed. We have 3 vacancies and those will be carried forward.
Well done, Councillor Hannah.
We turn then to the 3rd appointment, which is for a nomination to the Scottish Council's Committee on Radioactive Substances.
Okay, do we have any nominations?
Provost. Could I please nominate Councillor Deacon as the climate change portfolio holder? He would be in a good position to be able to take up that particular role as it is a governmental body and be able to represent the council.
Councillor Hannah?
Nominate Councillor Anslow.
Any other nominations? No. Mr. Moody?
Thank you, Provost. It's a straightforward choice between Councillor Deacon and Councillor Anslow. Provost Bissett.
Councillor Anslow.
Councillor Aitchison.
Councillor Anslow.
Councillor Aitken.
Councillor Anslow.
Councillor Anslow,
Councillor Anslow.
Councillor Binney,
Councillor Deakin.
Councillor Bowes,
Councillor Deakin.
Councillor Mackie Brown. Councillor Mackie Brown's indicating Councillor Anslow. Councillor Bundy,
Abstain.
Councillor Colley,
Councillor Deakin.
Councillor Deakin,
Councillor Deakin.
Councillor Devine,
Councillor Deakin.
Councillor Flynn,
Abstain.
Councillor Forrest,
Councillor Deakin.
Councillor Garner,
Councillor Deakin.
Councillor Hannah,
Councillor Anslow.
Councillor Kelly,
Councillor Anslow.
Bailey Kerr,
Abstain.
Councillor McCabe,
Councillor Anslow.
Councillor Meiklejohn,
Councillor Deakin.
Councillor Murtagh,
Councillor Deakin.
Councillor Nimmo,
Councillor Anslow.
Councillor Patterson,
Councillor Anslow.
Councillor Patrick,
Abstain.
Councillor Redmond,
Councillor Anslow.
Councillor Ritchie,
Councillor Anslow.
Councillor Sinclair,
Councillor Deakin.
and Councillor Spears.
Abstain.
Provost, there were 10 votes for Councillor Deakin, there were 12 votes for Councillor Anslow, there were 5 abstentions, and Councillor Anslow is duly appointed.
Thanks, Mr. Moody. Well done, Councillor Anslow. You're now a member of the Scottish Council's Committee on Radioactive Substances. So that brings us to the end of this meeting. The next meeting is a special meeting on 27th of November, 10 o'clock. And there's a briefing for all members on the 17th of November at 12:15. Thank you for your attendance.